Yo, welcome, everybody. I'll give y'all a minute to hop on in. Tavaverse is here. We got a lot to go over today, but I'll give it a moment. I'll give it a few. How's everybody doing today? Where you coming in from? If you're hopping on, you're already in. Make sure you invite the individuals that you want to be on. You need to be here, right? I mean, Tavaverse, we doing some amazing things, having some really big conversations. It's just amazing when you start to see some of the things that's going on behind the scenes. And I know some of you guys are like, what's he talking about? Anyway, more to come, more to come. But in the meantime, yep, hop on in. Where you coming in from? Where you coming in from? There we get a few people. We're gonna start in, let's see, maybe next 30 seconds or so. Indiana, okay. What's up? What's up, Indiana? I don't know if I've been there. No, I don't think I've ever. Oh, maybe I drove through there once. Anyway, we got a lot. We got a lot to go over, and man, it's a little bit crazy when you, like I said, you guys will know more. I'll talk more about it, but it's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of opportunity. What I want to first start with is, so again, we're going to talk about Tavaverse. Like you probably wonder, like, man, what is Tavaverse? I've been hearing about it all over the place. You guys are like changing the game, a lot of different things happening. Yes, that's definitely what's happening, and there's a lot more to come with that, or to come along with that. So we'll talk about more what is Tavaverse. Before I get into that, I like to just start like I just want you guys to understand like how important financial literacy is, understanding hard assets, and being able to make these moves. Okay, what's up, Rosa? And thank you for coming. And look, it's like hard assets and just understanding financial literacy as a whole. So many people do not get access to this information, and it's really not that difficult, right? It's to a point where a lot of people look and they're like, man, like it seems so difficult because you're never taught. And actually, what you are taught in schools is almost the opposite, right? And one person asked me earlier, say, man, what made like why are you in Tavaverse? What made you become a part of it, etc. Well, the big thing for me is impact and influence, because I realize a lot of people, unless they just happen to be in the right place at the right time and get that person. I remember a mentor of mine said he was working at a hotel and he just so happened to be working really, really hard. And it was a billionaire that visited that place pretty frequently. And he saw how hard my mentor now was working. And he was like, man, you work really hard. You could be something special. And that particular person just wanted to just happened to want to pour back into him. So he took him along his wings and taught him a lot of different things. So anyway, shy of that happening, and you just like, man, you were on the right person at the right time, and they giving you all the game, and you in the right place to be able to accept it and all of that. It could be tough, right? Because this stuff is not taught, right? And just to go, I'm going to talk a little bit about my journey. I know we guys are here. We're like, hey, what's Tavaverse? I'm definitely gonna go over it, but just kind of give you some more personal into it. So I'm the real estate educator, right? So if you're here, I probably should have started with that. My name is Philip Blake. I'm your real estate educator here in Tavaverse, and I've been doing real estate 10 years. It's only two things I've been doing real estate longer than, or excuse me, it's only two things I've been doing longer than real estate, and one that's health, fitness, wellness, so herbs and plant-based diets and all that stuff and working out. That's a big thing for me. And then just understanding the way that the laws of the universe, attraction, and not the fluff stuff, right? I'm not going to go into it deeply right now, but those are the only two things I've been studying longer than real estate, or doing longer than real estate. So when I started, I just want you guys to understand you can do it too, right? A lot of people, when you see somebody at their middle, or that somebody has accomplished something, and it's like there's a tendency to want to be like, man, it's easy for him. Of course it's easy. It was always easy. That's a special person. It can't be me because insert limiting belief, right? And I want you to understand that anybody that you see, that you look up to, that's achieving X, Y, or Z, and you're like, man, I don't think it's achievable for me. Just know that they started. Because when I look back at myself 10 years ago, I'm like, man, that person would have never achieved the stuff that I've achieved today. And that's because that person didn't achieve. I had to change myself. I had to change my self-image. I had to actually reinvent myself. Some of you guys know this story, but a little bit more than, well, yeah, right at 10 years ago, I got into real estate. At the time, I'm in school full-time for mechanical engineering. I'm working full-time, essentially as a mechanical engineer without the title. So I don't got a lot of time, and I decided to take on this thing called real estate, right? And what's happening is, just so you know my schedule, I just want to give you the insight. My schedule is alarm clock goes off at 5:30 usually, which is actually not terribly early, but it goes off at 5:30. I get up, I go to work, I'm doing everything, whatever the mental energy being disposed there. Then I get off, I go to classes to study and whatnot for school. And then somewhere in between all of that, I'm supposed to be doing real estate. And I remember at those times, man, when I used to hit the pillow, man, I used to be asleep before I even hit the pillow. And not the best way to exhaust yourself. So point is, I'm doing that, and at the time, I'm living in my mom's basement. Okay, I have zero expenses. My car is like 13 years old. Yeah, it was like 12, 13 years old, and no expenses there. I got literally no expenses, and all of my excess income that I was making, and I was actually making good money because I worked for a great company, great career. Like all my excess money was going into mentorship, real estate, marketing, trying to do deals, working to do deals, and overcoming this limiting belief that has been in my family generation because nobody knew what they didn't know, right? And I'm at it. I'm grinding hard, putting everything I got into it. I don't know if I'll go into the whole story today, but it took me almost 22, I think it was like 22 months, 23 months before I was like, I'm putting all this money in, getting nothing out. I'm talking about I'm paying for mentorship, I'm paying for marketing. And it wasn't because I was doing everything right. I was making mistakes, but I was failing forward and didn't realize it. But there was a lot of bumps along the road that I very easily could have quit. And it ultimately got to a point where I was very close. Like in my mind, if you would have asked me at that time, I wouldn't have told you like, yo, I'm about to quit. I'd have like, because I wasn't a quitter. I was like, I'm gonna make this work. And I think I was starting to transition into maybe a different business and something like that. And I mean, I was getting down to the point where it's like, I think it's like $300 or $400 left in our marketing budget. And I've been defeated at every point you could on a deal. And it was like, man, like what's going on? And I was actually blocking my own success. I was sabotaging my own success. This is why you'll hear me talk about self-image being so important. And your self-image is like a thermostat in your house. Well, you might have heard me talk about that before. But point is, I just was, I guess, too stupid to quit. So I just kept going and kept going. And ultimately, that last deal, when I'm thinking I'm about to quit, man, this lead comes in. I'm doubting it every way, every step along the process. And then boom, I finally get it closed, made like $42,000 on the deal. And, the rest is history. Now you actually believe you can do it, right? Now you walk into the office like you big dog now, right? Like, you know who I am? You know how I just did this month, right? And that was only for a few weeks worth of work. And at that time, even as it happened to me, I still didn't believe it, right? It was like, man, that's still not who I am. Maybe I got lucky. I did it once, etc. But point is, when you put yourself in the right positions and you're consistent, you take action, and you don't allow yourself to get put in a place where like you're surrounded by fixed mindsets. Okay. And I just kept doing that. And I kept surrounding myself by my amazing people, successful people, invested in myself that way, mentorship, masterminds. And I just kept doing it. Right. So the point is, so where's this got to do with Tabaverse? You guys like, oh, I'm here to hear about Tabaverse. I've been hearing it everywhere. Tell me about that. Well, we're definitely going to go through it. But reason why like I'm in Tabaverse is because you have the ability to learn these things without spending thousands and thousands of dollars, right? Without setting yourself up, like to be able to have mentorship. So that way you're able to avoid some of the mistakes that I was making. You'll still make your own mistakes, but they won't be mistakes that's going to take you out. And now you don't know what to do, right? You'll be able to avoid a lot of minefields. And a lot of people just don't have access to that. And that's just an amazing thing because now the fact of the matter is, like, I think that the stat is like 50% of people quit after first failure. I think it's up to like 80 something percent after the second. And it was like close to like 90 or 95%, maybe 93%. After the third failure, people are out. So most people are just not going to succeed because they're not willing to stay in the game long enough, or they can't see the other side, right? And sometimes you got to allow somebody else's eyes to guide you. And it's like, and that's what Tabaverse is about, and being able to bring information and a different type of thinking, a different level of thinking, but also a different form of thinking into what your current reality is. Because if your current reality is, I can't achieve this, I can't buy a bunch of properties, I can't have tens and six figures coming in a month from cash flow, passive, that's not me. Well, that may not be you, but we need to fix that mindset. We need to eliminate that so you can become the person that will achieve those things, or that can achieve those things, right? I mean, I see a lot of comments. Thank you for that. And I mean, that's what it's all about. So that's where I'm getting when I'm getting in and I'm like putting you all on game, and I'm telling you this is the play, this is how you do this, that's how you do that. This is real wealth talk. This is real stuff that's going on behind the scenes. Now, sometimes people get information and they get it for free or they get it for too cheap and they don't appreciate it and they don't take action on it because, oh, if it was that easy to get, then it must not be very valuable. Well, I'm here to tell you, like Tylerverse here, we are basically making that untrue. We're giving it to you so that way you are actually able to take steps and secure your financial future, hard assets, wealth, and be able to pass down a legacy for your family. And we not out here like I've spent a ton of money. I'm talking about minimum 25K on meetups and masterminds, right? Minimum, and over years and years, and they're definitely worth it. But that's a big step. I still remember the times when I was invested in a course. It was $67, and I'm over accounting like, and I had the money easily, but my mindset was all thrown off. Right, I'm over here thinking to myself like, man, and that's like 30 cents a day, right? It's like, what are we doing here? Where's your values placed at? Okay, all right. So we gonna get right into this. Let me pull this up for you guys. Let's see here. Give me 1 second here. Okay, give me 1 second. We're gonna get going with this. Okay. I just want to make sure I pull this PowerPoint up for you guys. But the point is, I mean, let me know if y'all feel what I'm talking about. Am I talking like, just like, is this not resonating with you? Or is this like, oh yeah, Philip talking that talk? Because I'm telling you, this is what it's about. This is literally what it's all about. All right. And you guys should be able to see the screen. It's Tylerverse, Hard Asset Education. I just want to go in a little bit and talk about like where I'm coming from, right? Some of you like, all right, well, that's Phil, but I mean, I'm telling you, this is like, I'm putting all my family on. Anybody that I care about, I want them to be a part of it because this is big stuff that you can actually put information, like you can put like real tangible value into someone's hands and let them empower themselves, not just be sitting around wondering, hoping, praying, scratching off lottery tickets, hoping that, man, if I just get $1 million, man, if I just, no, there's ways to get there. And I get it. Everybody want to get a big bag quick. And there's ways to do that as well. But a lot of times those bags that come quick are a result of doing years of work, being consistent. If you were consistent, if you're doing ordinary things, sometimes even above ordinary things consistently, you start to get extraordinary results. And that's why you surround yourself by the right people. And that's why we keep putting this message out to you guys daily. So that way you can see like, man, this is like real talk. All right. So you guys know I can go. And then, I want to make sure we focus on. So you guys are here. And I appreciate you being here. But you've been hearing the buzz. Tylerverse this, Tylerverse that. Financial literacy, they changing the game. Who's this? What's going on? Let's get right into it. Right. So our founders, people who made this possible, started with Tava. Right. That's Kenny and Shantae. Like they actually made this possible. It started with Tava, which is a health and fitness sector, right? Where they have products for that. And then over the past 3 years, they expanded upon, there's worldwide for traveling. And now in the third year, we're talking about financial literacy, which is what we're here for. But they're the ones that saw this like, hey, let's bring this to individuals because the information is not out there. And then our visionary, a lot of you know Jewel, right? She's amazing, doing really big things in multiple sectors, got a lot of great people surrounded by her, adding a lot of value, right? Well, she's the visionary. She made this all possible. And I mean, at this point, if you're hearing about Tylerverse, you probably know, but she's doing big things. And I always make the comment when we talk about Andrew Carnegie. I think it was like 120 years ago, maybe longer. He talked about one of the most powerful skills is being able to bring together a group of people and to get them to work in perfect harmony towards a common goal. And that's very, very powerful. And it allows really amazing things to happen. Well, Jewel has done that. Okay. And to you all benefit, right? There's people in the group. I mean, I know I charge crazy numbers for mentorship. Like some of you guys may have heard me talk about that. 5 figures and stuff for that. And there's other individuals that they've all invested into themselves, like a lot of money. That's all I want to put into it. And that education you get to take, and they get to, bring it into our minds. We've learned it, we've executed on it, and now we get to go ahead and teach you, so that way you can benefit from that. It's literally buying speed. That's all it is. You buying years of experience. You're buying. It's just like reading a book. This is why reading is so important. When you're reading the right things, why? Because somebody's lived their life and they did a career or whatever it is on any topic, and they studied something for 30, 40 years, 50 years, sometimes even 10 years, whatever. And they put that information into a book, and now you can just time travel and get all that information in a matter of a week or a few days or a couple of weeks, right? Same thing here. You're in a position to literally buy speed. If you want to get to where you want to go fast, I mean, that's probably why you're on this call right now. All right, so big shout out, thank you to Jewel. Right, so basically your complete e-commerce phone-based business, right? So we're helping people like literally step by step. I've already gone over like TabaVerse and the travel, but there's different, like we're setting you up. It's basically holistic financial literacy with like made primarily focusing on hard assets, right? So obviously you get this education about, okay, I want to get into real estate, or I want to learn credit. I want to know how to get funding. I want to know how to grow my business. I want to know how to do marketing. I want to know how to get my systems and scale my company and all these different things, right? You're getting all of that, but it's holistic because now that you are part of this universe, this TabaVerse, these different things coincide, and now you get access to more opportunities, more resources that's going to allow you to grow even more wherever you're at, whether you're at the beginning and you're like first step trying to figure out what exactly it is you want to do, or if you're like, hey, I've been in business, I got this business running, I got this business running. Everybody got problems. I don't care if you're making money or if you're not making money, but there's a level of thinking above, and the greatest minds continue to reach and above where they're at because they know it's another level. And you get to a point where you go so high, right? You get to a point where you go so high, it's like, man, who can I hang around and really get some valuable information? Because I've been doing it so long, right? And I'm not saying me, I'm just saying that's what happens, right? You talking whatever, Elon Musk, Bill Gates, or Warren Buffett type of things, right? What's up, Ronald? You here from Texas? Let's get it, right? Gloria, what's up? What's up? Thanks for adding on, Colleen. All right, so just some of these alarming stats, like for financial literacy statistics. I mean, you guys, I hope you guys can see the screen share here, but just if you can't, look, 75% of American teenagers lack confidence in their knowledge of personal finance. Well, to me, that's not alarming because guess what? In most schools, I actually have yet to see a school. It might be some really like unique schools out there, but for the most part, they're not teaching anything about personal finance. I still remember my first year going to college. They asked me to get a credit card, like I think my second year, and they were just gonna give it to me, like, hey, you're a student, so you get a credit card. Here it is. You don't have to do anything, whatever. And I'm like, oh no, that's a credit card. Oh no, no, I gotta talk to my mom. I gotta talk to my dad about that. That's a big, I had literally no preparation, zero. Whereas there's other individuals whose kids are same age, graduating 17, 18, and they graduating with an 800 credit score, right? And they know how to make moves, or they're actually using their credit to actually make money, to make passive income from credit, or leveraging different moves, right? So when I talked about just being at the right place at the right time, some people just born into the right family. That's just how it is. Some people are just born where it's like, oh, your dad has spent all this information and knowledge and grown this wealth, and he's accumulated all these different ideas, and he knows what works, and he's just going to impart them all into you, or your uncle or whoever, and you just get it. That happens for some, but just a few. And for them, it's easy because that's what they always been taught. But for a lot of us, we have to be the one that becomes the person that gives back to our family and our like our lineage, like kids, grandkids, etc., where we start to develop a new way of thinking overall. Like, this is how we do things. Skip what everybody else talking about and what's the normal thing to do, because a lot of people just the blind leading the blind. That's where you get the masses, right? If you 99, I test this from time to time. If you just look in a general category and say, what does most people do? And you choose to do the opposite or something different, chances are you'll have better success, because most people just doing whatever they're doing because that's what they always done. And okay, if I saw a quote, they was talking about Kanye West or Ye. He was talking about if he run down the street with like some tight joggers on and he's sweating crazy down the wrong way down the freeway, people look at that and be like, man, this guy's crazy. But if he got 100 people with him, people call it a marathon. What I'm gonna use that to a different degree. Well, to the same degree, but slightly with a slight twist on it. A lot of people just, okay, you running, I'm just gonna run with you. I don't know why we running. I don't know where we going. I don't know what we doing, but you doing it, so I'm just gonna go in that direction. Literally no, and it's not that some people are out there actively trying to mislead you. Sometimes that's all they know, right? Sometimes this is all they know. So they're like, hey, I'm trying to help you. You ask your parent or somebody that you love, they trying to look out for you for advice, financial advice, but they're not somebody you should be listening to. And now they just tell you, well, this is what I could do, this is what I did, this is what I heard. And it's not that they're trying to harm you, it's just not sound counsel, right? Watch who you take information from. Look at who the person is sharing this information. And that's right. Make sure you get back with the person. If you want, you got to hop off, that's cool. But make sure you get back in touch with the person who invited you on and say, hey, man, where's the link? We'll talk more about it, but I'm just rolling today, right? I actually want to impart some value so you guys can start to see the mental shifts that need to happen. Okay, 23% adults 18 to 29, credit card debt over 90 days overdue. That's because you're doing what everybody do. You're going to get what everybody else got. Don't expect different results. 25% of Americans say they don't have anyone they can turn to for trusted financial guidance. I just talked about that. And I would say that percentage is probably higher because the lack of thinking, most people don't even know that they don't have somebody. They just say, oh, if I got a question, I'm going to ask my dad. I'm going to go ask my uncle and blah, blah, blah. Somebody they used to work at such and such. I'm going to ask them. Even though they may be somewhat in that field, they may not actually know what you need to answer to. And a lot of people just run with it, right? Even in this age where we got access to Google and all this information and Chat GPT and all of this stuff, AI, you still got to really know the right questions. Smart person, I forget the saying, smart person has good answers. A wise person has really good questions. And then America's over $800 billion credit card debt. That's Q1 in 2022. I mean, you can do what everybody else got and continue. And I mean, I'm not going to go too hard on college. It's good for some, but some people, a lot of people, it's a big waste. And they just doing it because I'm going to get this sheet of paper and I'm never going to use it. I mean, so it's time to elevate our financial IQ, right? Regardless of, if you was a C student, you was a D student, doesn't matter. Because a lot of those principles don't reflect in real life. You can be wealthy, which is what a lot of us want anyway. So we need to learn certain skill sets. And it's all learnable, whether you learn how to leverage assets, okay, whether you understand like global economics, so that way you can understand that over whatever in China, XYZ is happening. So that's going to impact the market this way. And that may allow opportunity in this particular field. And that might not even be your thing, but if you surround yourself by the right people, they may do that for you. And you just happen to hear something like, oh, what are you doing? I'll give you a real life example. I was in one of those rooms and what it was actually a partner of mine, Mike, he was spending a ton of money on marketing, let's say. And let's say each piece he sent out cost him like 50 cents. He just happened to be in the right room and he overheard somebody say, oh, I'm paying whatever, 34 cents, 32 cents for this particular mail marketing. So he's like, huh, what'd you say? How much you paying? He's like, oh yeah, I'm paying this. And then boom, all of a sudden with the volume that he's spending, it saved him like 25K like instantly, just off of that alone, just hearing something from being in the right room. One of the other benefits of just being in the right room. That's why a lot of people choose to fly first class because of the people that you surrounded, not necessarily because of the seats are larger. But I guess that's a benefit too. And then just exclusive access to just financial institutions, right? We giving it, like I told you, it's holistic. So not only you getting the information, how do I invest in real estate? How do I grow a business? How do I get my credit? How do I get funding? What type of mindset do I need to have? How do I grow my systems and scale? Not only do I have all of that, oh, by the way, here's resources that are designed to help you fulfill that. So you don't got to go out and search in Google and Chat GPT and wonder, okay, I got the information now. Now let me go out and figure this out. Let me go out and figure out what to do. No, it's on a platter. The point is to make it simple, right? Sometimes it's too simple and people still don't do it. Right? So who is top of verse 4, right? Basically, like I said earlier, if you have a business, you own real estate, you don't have a business and you don't own real estate and you want to. Or if you literally just like, man, I need to do something better that's going to set me and my family up for a better financial future. I need to do something so that way, like we're set. because I know right now, 10 years from now, 5 years from now, 2 years from now, I'm just gonna keep doing what I keep doing. I'm gonna keep getting what I got. And what I'm gonna do? Complain? You know, better to start now than never. Some people say, and it don't matter what age you are. I remember somebody said, "Oh well, I think the guy was like 48, and he gave this goal. He was like, all right, we was like, all right, let's plan out your 10-year goal." And he's like, well, this is where I want to be. And he was like, okay, that's your 10-year goal. He's like, man, 10 years, I'll be 58. So we're like, how old would you be if you don't do any of this stuff that we talking about? You're still gonna be 58, right? So better to start now, start being intentional about the action that you take, the tasks that you involve yourself in, the thoughts that you think, the people you surround yourself. It's time to be intentional. I mean, if y'all listen to somebody, put intentional up there. Tag somebody, put top of verse, and tell them to be intentional, right? Be intentional about your life. Because a lot of people just going with the flow. Going with the flow. They end up where they end up. I'm talking about, I know people who got whole careers off going with the flow. Oh, my cousin was a truck driver, and okay, he told me he got a job, and next thing I know, I was a truck driver. Okay, did you ever want to be? No, I actually never thought I'd be a truck driver, and I really don't like it. Oh, so you just here and you just letting your life just drift. Anybody know Napoleon Hill? It's one of his books. He talks about drifting, being a sin or whatever you want to call it. Is basically when you allow yourself to just be, all right. I'm gonna do this because I don't know, everybody else is doing it. I'm just going with the flow. Whatever happens, I'm not being intentional about any time, any people that I spend. What's up, Ron? Ron say he's 58 now. Wow, right. Start right. You start now. And you, again, you the youngest you ever gonna be again. You're not gonna go back in the past. At least, I mean, I guess technology is still advancing, but right now, I don't see anybody going back in the past. So, and the job is not finished. So let's make it right. That's more urgency for you to be able to get up and like, all right, let's make this happen. I need to make moves. And when I say urgency, I don't mean like, oh, drop everything. I'm quitting my job, everything. I'm just saying this is a process that you follow. But I'm just saying it got to be urgency, right? You got to be patiently impatient. I'll elaborate more on that later. Mindset. I talked about that, right? Mindset. Just understanding how to move from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset. There's people out there that when you drop knowledge on them, like that's be discerned, like being able to discern BS from like real talk. That's a very good skill. And I'm just giving y'all that right now. When you like, you got to be able to understand that when you hear somebody saying something, just to be like, man, that person giving sound advice. I'm not saying you got to do what they're saying. I'm not saying you got to absolutely trust them forever. I'm just saying sometimes you hear something, whether it's you read something, a book, and this is like, man, that actually makes sense. That's sound advice. And you also got to know the other way when somebody's saying something, you're like, man, I don't know, right? You got to be able to discern that stuff because there's people out there, they're so stuck with what they're talking about. No matter how much you talk to them, how much you show them, how much you do for them, they like, no, this is what it's going to be. But we like, look at your results. You've been doing that for 5 years, 10 years, or long, 15, 20 years. And you don't think there's no other way? Nope. I want to get to where I want to go, but I want to do it the way I want to do it. I don't want to change the path. And we all know the definition of insanity. So we don't want to have fixed mindsets, right? And just understanding how to trust your financial gut. You build your financial gut by being surrounded by the right people and understanding the fundamentals. Because now you actually have something to base that on. You got a foundation versus just like, I'm hoping and let me scratch this lottery ticket. Let me scratch it. I just got a feeling this number gonna hit. I'm not talking down on anybody. My parents is doing it. I think my dad actually still do it. But my parents, that's where I come from. We grew up scratching lottery tickets. Crazy. Talk about growth over time period. I remember at one point with scratching lottery tickets like my parents were, and they wouldn't even like check. They would just buy them and then check them all at the end of the year, hoping that something hit. It's crazy, man. It's just gambling when you can put that same energy. I talked about global economics. I'm not going to go that deep into it because some of you is like, hey, that might be too big of a thing. But just, again, understanding the environment of what's going on around you. And when you understand the environment around you, you know how to move. If you wake up one day, I guess shout out to the movie Saw, but if you wake up one day and you just in the middle of the forest or the Amazon, whatever, and you got trees and stuff, you understand your environment, you're going to move a little bit differently than if you woke up wherever, in an office building, right? You understand your environment, so that kind of gives you some guidance on how to move. Real estate, I mean, I already told you guys, I'm the real estate educator, and I'm just giving y'all a game on business and all the different stuff that I thought that I was just going into this to learn about uh, just real estate, and I ended up getting a full learning again, business and hiring and mindset and self-image and time management and organization, just looking to grow as we grew. So I'm giving you all that other stuff, but at the same time, I know we're talking about hard assets, how to understand how to leverage money and understand the markets you're in so you can go out and buy assets that you never thought. Some of you out here right now, I don't got no money, I can't invest in real estate. Okay, great. That's a limiting belief, because nobody said you had to have money to invest in real estate. Nobody said you had to have your money to invest in real estate. I know a lot of people making moves right now because they know how to move. So there's ways around it. So don't let your mindset keep you set in where you at. Because sometimes what you're thinking is like, oh, I didn't even know that was possible. And now you start to grow. Your barometer is reset. I thought it was impossible to go 100 miles per hour. And then you see a car doing 150. Oh, okay, I guess that's possible. So same thing applies. And then just understanding the areas that you want to invest in, the different markets. It's a lot of different components. So that's why we go into real estate very deeply. Every week we got a backlog of a lot of information that's there and it's coming out. So those are the things that allow you to be successful. And now you can ask questions. And those questions actually help overcome those mindsets, because you got somebody that kind of hold your hand and say, look, this is the move. Here's what to do. I've done it. And I'm being real with you guys. There has been situations with people that I know where I've literally walked them through it. Here's how to do it. I'm not talking about entire verse, but because you guys that when you are jumping in, you are already on a certain frequency. But there's been family members and friends where you like, here, go do this. Here's the play. Go do it. And they just don't do it. And they know who I am. They know what I do, whatever. And I'm like, all right. So I'll do the same play at the same time that I told them to do it. And then, a couple months later, we out, whatever, bowling or something like that, I think it was. And it's like, oh, yeah, you remember that play that I was telling you about? You do anything with it? Which I know the answer is no, because you didn't ask me any follow-up questions. He's like, oh, yeah. I was like, yeah, I made like 80,000 on that. Oh, man, blah, 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 blah. But I'm gambling. I'm doing, you know what I mean? So being careful, right? It's a lot out here. So anyway, learning the strategies and learning how to do it properly, the right way, not just what everybody thinks real estate investing is, because it's different than that, right? Well, Rodney says, stop setting our minds with limits. Yeah, that's true. But I'm gonna actually give you some on top of it. He says, stop setting our minds with limits. Sometimes we set our own minds, but a lot of times this stuff is set for you, because when you grew up, your parents just gave you the best that they could. And if they had limiting beliefs, those became your limiting beliefs. Whatever they believe, I just do it because my parents do it. So most people don't get until they in their 20s, sometimes 30s, where they start to think for themselves, like, do I actually believe that? Or is that something I actually want to do? All right, just keep it going. So funding, right? Understanding how to, like, a lot of people don't even go to bank. They go to banks and they like, they get nervous. You guys do loans here? It's like because you have zero experience with it. So it's like it's a black box. You walk into there like, man, I hope I'm good. Maybe some people know a little something about credit, but they know nothing about funding. And that's just, banks is just one source. There's multiple sources to get funding from. But understand it like, oh no, this is what banks look for. This is what this resource is looking for. Here's how to be successful. Here's the answer to the test. You just got to make sure you put the right answers on the paper. Oh, all of a sudden it's simple. Man, real life is so much simpler than school, right? In school, they called it cheating if you just gave somebody the answer. And just learn the different tactics, whether you do it yourself or whether you leverage your time and pay someone else to do it, right? Implementing creative strategies to position you to receive the funding. So now all of a sudden, somebody out who got this business they've been wanting to do and they just never could get ahead because their pockets wasn't there. Again, understand how to leverage that. So now you don't have to go out there and bootstrap and save every penny just to make something happen. And your progress starts to become more quick because now you got the capital. Then you got the people around you that's going to put you together to say, oh, here's how to use that capital. And here's the risk that you're taking. Here's the risk that you're not taking. Here's the reward. There's a return, etc. And all of a sudden you're like, man, in business, this is called man, I just lost the thought. It's not a C-suite. It's a board of directors, right? literally like successful businesses have what they call a board of directors, and these are individuals who have experience in different things, and their purpose, they maybe meet once a year, maybe once a quarter, depending on how involved. And it's literally just to get insight from different perspectives on how to make these moves, how to make something happen. Tylerverse would be your board of directors, right? Where you like, okay, here's where I want to go. Okay, now you got somebody with this experience, somebody 15 years over here, somebody 10 years over here. Okay, boom, boom, boom. Everybody's working in the direction to help you be successful. So that way your success is not predicated upon what you can do or what you think you can do. It's predicated upon the people you have surrounded yourself with who have the intent to just, hey, we want you to grow. This is your goal. We want you to do it. That's it. Angela just said it perfectly. A mastermind. You guys ain't read Napoleon Hill, Law of Success, Think and Grow Rich. There's some powerful stuff there. But when you got a group of people, I talked about what Jewel did, brought together a group of people to work in perfect harmony towards a common goal in Tylerverse, that is to have impact on you guys so that way you can be financially free. So we help you hit your goals, right? So you got to think, you got multiple people with years of experience who are here to do that for you. That's a lot of power. That's a lot of energy that you can leverage into your own success. You still got to do work. I'm not saying up here, oh, we're going to do all the work for you. Everything's easy, blah, blah, blah. No, some stuff is simple, but it's hard to do. Some stuff is the opposite, right? Some stuff is like, it's a little bit more complicated, but it's not really, you know what I mean, right? It's not that difficult. Simple, not easy, easy, not simple, whatever. So, but sometimes it's like that. You still got to do the work. We just going to point you in the right direction. So your path isn't point A here and you do all of this, all of that stuff working around, and now you end up over here point X and you still ain't making it to where you want to go, right? We want to show you like, okay, this is where you at. This is point A. Here's point Z. Here's how to go. Okay, you got to avoid that minefield. But okay, here's the quickest path. I'm just saying, credit. A lot of people just don't understand the power of credit. I mean, debt is actually currency now, especially when you understand the way money, how it works. But understanding that credit can be an income source for you. A lot of people don't know that. Having a good credit score is more than just saying I can get the house and car I want. It can be a business for you. It can give you capital to start a business that you always wanted to start, right? In different and substantial amounts. So all of a sudden, everything becomes possible. There's no limitation of I don't got the money, I can't. No, you don't lack resources. You just lack resourcefulness because the money is out here. And I talked about earlier, some of you may be out here where I got this business, that business. I'm making a ton of money. Maybe I'm pulling my hair out because I'm tired of whatever going on. And I know it's another level. Some of y'all just need to work on your systems, your processes, understand how to leverage people and build a custom system for your business or leverage certain tools. Right? And if you're not there, you're going to eventually grow to there. And it's like you go up a little bit, you build a system for that works. And okay, you want to grow some more, you need to build a system. So you want to have a system that's ahead of where you want to go. And it's not like, oh, I'm going to do this system one time and it's done for the next 10 years. Maybe, but chances are if you're growing enough, you're going to break the system. And that's okay. Marketing. It's a funny thought I have about marketing because a lot of companies, some big companies, you see these liquidating sales, going out of business or whatever. And every time I see one of those liquidating, we're going out of business, sale, etc., it's always interesting to me. I was like, well, I never even heard of this company. Or, man, I haven't seen this company. I've heard of the company, but I haven't seen them do any marketing or anything out there, right? And I'm like, man, you guys did this type of marketing before now, maybe you wouldn't have to have a going out of business sale. But anyway, point is, marketing is an essential part. Best known beats best. Okay? Sometimes some of you, and this, just think about it. Think about the fast food that you eat, if you eat that, or just anything. Sometimes you buy stuff just because you know it, or you're familiar with it. Imagine if you traveled out of the country. That's why McDonald's do so well globally. Because, all right, I know if I'm out of the country, I don't know what food I'm going to get here, what food I'm going to get there, but I know I'm gonna get at McDonald's, so I believe in that. So best known beats best. You might have the best steak, the best chefs, the best criteria. Everything is perfect. Everything is good. The best service, but nobody knows you. And unfortunately, you're going to lose to the person that's not putting half the energy or a quarter of the energy into their own services and their own food or their own product. Best known beats best, right? So you got to have a brand and recognition. right? Understanding the 4 P's of marketing, which we go over, right? She's Marquita's crushing that, right? Making your presence known in general. Angela says this community is a blessing for all the years and experience we get access to is priceless. Most people don't share their secret sauce. Here at Tylerverse, we get the secrets and the sauce, right? We can avoid unnecessary mistakes and move intentionally. That's it. That couldn't say it better myself. Thank you, Angela. I really couldn't say it better myself. You make intentional movement in the direction that you want to go, right? You just got to know where you want to go, and you got a group of people, a community that's going to help you get there. Simple as that, right? When you play sports in college, they have man, it just left me. You have the help, like you got like specific tutors, right? You playing sports in college, they got specific tutors that help you, like, you know, study and stuff because your schedule. It's kind of like that, except you got multiple. They are all here. The goal is, all right, I want you to learn this so you can be successful, so you can implement. I talked about earlier resources. So that's the partnership or the partners portal, right? Where, okay, the resources that you don't have to go out and Google and figure out who can, all right, you guys told me how to do it, but who do I go to? No, we got it, right? You need help with funding. You need a tax strategist. You need access to a bank. Oh, we got it. Some person who owns the bank, right? You need real estate experience. You need help with credit. You need bookkeeping. You talking about precious metal. I actually had a call with other guy a couple of days ago. Quick little hack, or not hack, quick little tip for you guys. Like a lot of people think precious metals, you're thinking, oh, you got gold, you got silver, that's, you know, that's cool. But he was talking about how much money he was making in cobalt. And I'll just leave it at there. But just powerful, like big time conversations. And some of this stuff is not just like, we had another conversation today. Actually, Jewel and I were talking, where we talking about, look, you know that you can, like, she was talking about her, like, we talk about our goals as well. She's talking about her goals for the year. And, you know, how many units she want to buy. I think it was a couple hundred. And we talking about deals and things that she can be a part of, where I was like, that's 134 units right there. And you get to the point when you understand, like, how things work, you like, dang, I only said a couple hundred. Let me figure this out. Let me adjust that number. I need to put a comma in there somewhere, right? And that's just having access to the right people. We all looking to grow, etc. Help each other. So Tylerverse, I know I'm going long, but I want to add a lot of value here. 6 sessions per week. So all of those different things, I talked about the real estate, the marketing, the systems, the branding, talked about the mindset. We got our own loan officer, Candace, crushing it, right? So all these different questions, that loan officer is very, like, because a lot of people, again, they go through a process of buying a home, whether it's a first home, second home investment. We get scared because we never dealt with before. So we're like, I don't know what they're going to ask for. They just tell me what they do. But now you got somebody you can go to, like, how does this work? What's the best move? And you can actually have those behind the curtain conversations and say the things that you really want to say. Like, man, I don't understand this. And you don't have to worry about looking like a fool or an idiot to the bank. And they're like, oh, is that going to hurt me? Or I don't know what this paperwork is. You get to go in prepared because you get to ask the people that's doing it. Man, that's just, man, it's so many opportunities, so many resources, so many grants and things that's out here. But point is, you get 6 sessions per week. You get access to the replays. It's 15 minutes Q&A. And the design of it is to take you from A to Z. So that way you can learn whatever it is, depending on where you want to start. You may want to start in real estate. You may want to start in funding. You may have a core that you want to do. You may be like, hey, I want to go straight to the marketing, straight to the branding. I want to really work on my mindset. I don't even know what my goals should be. I need to figure out what my business, like, okay, that's fine. Right? Because you start and you take it, you making progress. You're not just, if you just sitting here wishing and praying for something to happen, not putting the action behind it, it's tough. But at least at that point, you start to take action towards your goals, right? We actually got a field trip, real estate field trip this week, matter of fact. It's Friday and Saturday in Detroit. So we're not just talking, guru stuff. I mean, some people say I'm a guru. You just call me an educator because guru, in my mind, is a negative connotation. But the point is, we're out there. Like, here's the deals that we're looking at. Here's deals, real deals that we're actually looking at. Okay, you went through the process. You got funded. You want to start growing your portfolio. Okay, here's the deal. Make some money on it, right? You don't necessarily have to make decisions solely based off what you know. You get counsel. This is why the president has a cabinet of people, right? trusted advisors, people that are going to give you counsel. So when you don't have all the information, you got to make sure they come in to give you all the information and explain it to you in such a way where you just got to make an important decision. You just got to make a decision that's going to actually change your life. And that's what it's all about. And that's what we're here today for. Just make the decision, make a quality decision that's going to help you. Right. I mean, it's a lot of stuff out there, and it's a lot of ways we could be spending our time. And I know the biggest thing is a lot of people they're thinking about something. They're like, man, I'm going to have to do the work. And people actually shy away from themselves. They look at it. There's no question about Tyler versus the value you're getting, but I understand some people out there, they're like, man, like, am I ready to commit? Am I going to do it? Am I willing to make the sacrifices? And that's only a question you can answer, because, I mean, frankly, you may not be. You might be like, I'm not going to be disciplined. I'm not going to show up to the courses. I'm not going to do the assignments for success. I'm not going to do it. And that's the one thing we can't do. We lead you to water, we can't make you drink. Right? So, and that's a big thing. And I just understand, and that in itself is a mindset shift that needs to happen. But that's a common place where people are concerned, like, well, am I actually going to do it? And I'm hoping that you've been on this call, you listen, and you learn more to the point where, like, man, I need to take action. If you want something different, you have to do something different. If you want to be different, you got to be different. That's just how it goes. Be what you want so that you can have what you want. And you got to be it before you actually have it, if you didn't understand the orders of operation. All right, so you guys got 4 options, right? If you want to get started, so, okay, next thing, all right, Phil, sounds amazing, sounds great. Tylerverse, how much does it cost, etc. So it's 4 options, really. I break it down. Angela said she wants 25 doors, right? So that's dope. That's dope. But just understand, it's levels to it. You run with the right people, 25 doors, you go in certain rooms, people are like, man, you got 25 units? You got, I heard a guy, he was bragging about how in 6 years he got like 6 units, and he was like teaching people, and I was like, 6 units in 6 years? That's like nothing. I might have did that last week. You know what I mean? So it's levels to it, and that's not to you, Angela, but so 25 doors. She's gonna be in certain rooms. She's gonna say 25 doors, and people gonna say, "Whoa, Angela's doing it! Wow!" Right? And then she's gonna, and that now she knows what room she's in. But then she got to make sure intentionally she put herself in other rooms where she say 25 doors, and then people are like, oh yeah, that's nice, that's cute, that's great, and we actually applaud that. But guess what? We want your level of thinking now to be thinking like, oh, okay, 25 was pretty easy. I need to make it 100. I need to make it 50. I need to make it 1,000. I need to make it 6,500. And all of a sudden, that's no matter where you at. That 25 is arbitrary. She could have said 2,500 units. Okay, well, my mentor got 6,500 units. Okay, and he's looking at 2,500. Oh, that's cute. You know, I remember those days when I had 2,500 units, right? And most people look at 2,500 units like, I'm done. What am I doing? I'm vacation the rest of my life. Anyway, so you got 4 options, right? And really, I'm gonna break it down in 2 different ways, right? One way, let's say you're the person, you're here, and you're like, man, I love it. I want to get in. I'm gonna do it, and I want to elevate those around me. This is what I call the most unselfish approach, because it's selfishly unselfish. Because 1, you get to elevate your loved ones, your friends, your family. So that's why we say get them on, right? So they can join too. You elevate the people around you. So now you're surrounded by winners. But remember, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So that's why I say it's selfishly unselfish, because it's unselfish because, hey, I want all y'all to win. Come get this knowledge. We grow together. Maybe we partnership and you build. It's like everybody around you getting degrees. So now y'all can come together and build something, right? So now you have that, or at the very least, higher levels of thinking, right? And because of that average of the people you spend the most time with, by increasing them, you're increasing yourself. And now it's more opportunity that you may not have. And you get to leverage other people's natural gifts and skills, right? So if that's you, if you're that type of person, like, man, I'm definitely telling people about it. And that's just what I want to do. And I want to implement on it. If that's what you want to do, then that package one time is $1,200, right? $1,200 basically you get another source of income, and it's more benefit to it. I'm not gonna go into all the details, but that if that's you would be more benefited if you did the $1,200 package. That's a one-time thing. Okay, you get also the products here. You can see different. I talked about Tava, the health and fitness side of it. You get those products as well. Okay, as a part of all of these packages. The 1,200 package, if they say, hey, that's a lot right now, I don't have it right now, you can split it up. You can split it up from 500 and 7, or you can do 300 and like the difference, right? 950 or whatever, or 900, right? So you can split it up that way. If that's, and again, that's not required, but that's if that's like, hey, you want to do that, it's also another source of income for you. If you're like, hey, like I love it, I want to get in, I want to, and I'm zoned in, I'm all focused on myself, and that's okay, by the way. It's okay to have a selfish season where I'm focusing on me, right? And you just like, hey, I'm about to zone in, I'm locked in, and maybe later I'll do something, but I'm focusing on me right now. That's fine. That package is $200 one time. You still get the top of products, which is awesome products, by the way, as far as like, like your collagen, I like the mental clarity. It's a lot of different things. I'm not here to talk about that, but point is you still get those, and that's just a one-time thing. So you in it, and after that, you don't have this. It's $150 a month for whether you do the 1,200 or whether you do the 200. It's $150 a month, and those are one-time payments just to get you going, and you get access to all the information that has been consistently coming in before now. I think right now we got 4 or 5 weeks worth of back of content that's already there that you can just dive right into. Okay. So you figure $1,200 pack. If you want to tell people about it, $200 pack. If you just like, hey, I'm solely focused on me, it's $150 a month. That is 100% no brainer, because if you went to college, what did you pay for college? If you went to vocational school, what do you pay for vocational school? And what's the benefits you got out of college? Like I said, I know a lot of people not even using their degrees, right? Now you're getting real information from real people that's doing it tangible, that you can go out, execute, and make like actually do something that you want to do, and start building your legacy. Start now. Someone commented earlier, said, I'm 58 now. Great. Start. And regardless of what you do today, if you're going to be here 10 years from now, you're going to be 68. If you 18, if you 21, time's not going to stop, whether you do or not. So just be intentional. And I hope you guys got value out of this. And I want to make sure that y'all get back in touch. Just get back in touch with the person that invited you. If you got questions, fine. If you need to have a conference call, that's fine. Make sure you get back in touch with them. Hey, send me the link where I signed up. If you, like I said, you have additional questions, do that. And just make a quality decision. Like I said, some things just start with a quality decision. You may be lost. Hey, I don't even know where I want to go, but I know I need to be in the right place. Fine. Surround yourself. Create your board of directors, so that way you can just not only benefit from your own thinking, but leverage the thinking and experience and success of others, right? That's why you see these books behind me. So what you call, this is leverage. These are people that have done things that I can look at and say, oh, okay, I can do that, or this is how I can do that. At the very least, I can ask better questions. I'm better suited to ask better questions or different levels of thinking, so I can elevate myself. None of this stuff I'm talking about is stuff that I don't do. That's why it's so easy for me to talk about it. It's just like, it literally just roll off the tongue. All right, so I went a little long, but I wanted to make sure I added as much value as possible. I thank you all for staying on. Again, get back in contact with the person that invited you. Ask for the link. If you have additional questions, again, get back in touch with the person that invited you. And look, this is to your success. If y'all here on this call, come on, that's almost 10 o'clock at night. It's 9 o'clock at night. If you Eastern Standard Time, some of you a little bit earlier, but that's okay. Wherever you at, this stuff works nationally. And let this be the start of a very powerful future, right? You being intentional about what success you're going to have. Okay. It all starts with a quality decision. All right. And I see a lot of comments. Thank you, you guys. Thank you. Again, I'm just telling you how it is. And welcome to Topiverse. Let's get it. All right. So peace. I'll see you guys on the next one, and I'll talk to you soon.